In this video we're going to take a look at some database functions, or sometimes they're called the D functions in Excel. And before we look at the database functions, we're going to look at their non-database counterparts. Every one of the functions we're going to look at has a counterpart up here. We have a sum function, an average, a count, a max, and a min, which will work for any range of numbers. And we're actually going to try these here. And I'm going to apply all of these to the yield column. So I want the sum of the yields, and I hit enter, and it tells me the sum is 57. And I want the average of the yields, and it tells me the average is 9.5. I want to count how many numbers are in that column. And by the way, this only works on a numeric column. It should probably be called count numbers instead of just count. And there's a max function that will tell me the biggest number in the range, and there is a min function that will tell me the smallest number in the range. And each one of these functions has a database counterpart, and the database part of the function means that you can specify a rule and not necessarily have to use everything in the column. For example, I might want to find the total yield of all of my apple trees. I just want to pick out these rows right here and add up the 14 and the 10 and the 8. Well, you can't make distinctions like that when you do the sum or the average or any of those other functions that are up there on the home ribbon. So the way you do stuff like that is by using the D functions. And there is an ordinary sum function, and there is a DSUM function. Now, we're used to going to our formulas tab and finding the appropriate book here. And even if you go here to more functions and look, there are no database functions listed. I don't know why Microsoft left that off. But if you want to do the database functions, you go over here. And we are going to use the, by the way, there's a category called database. And the last time I was here, that's what I selected. So that's still up. So you have to find the database category and then select the function that you want. We're going to do sum. And click on OK. And we get the little dialog box that comes up here. And the database is going to be this area right here. Make sure you always include the headings. And which field is it that I want to sum? And you can start with this is column 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's the column in the table, not the column in Excel. And then the criteria, well, I just want the apple tree, so I'm just going to pick part of my criteria range up here and select the apple trees and hit enter. And there it is. The apple trees, I had a yield of 14, 10, and 6, which adds up to 30. The next function was the average function. We're going to look at d-average. So let's go here, and d-average is the first one on the list here. Click on OK. And the database again is this stuff here. The field again is field number 4. And the criteria again, we're just going to do apple trees again on all of these examples and click on OK. And the average of the apple trees, the sum was 30, there was 3 of them, so the average is going to be 10. Okay, the next one was count. So we're just going to count, basically count how many apple trees there were. And our database again is going to be this. Our field is going to be column number 4, and our criteria is going to be apple trees. Click on OK, and it tells me I had 3 apple trees. There's also a count A version, which I could have used if I wanted to count the data in a text column. Ordinary count is for counting numbers. Count A is for counting anything in a cell. Okay, and that's probably a good place to stop, and we'll come back and look at a few more of the D functions in the next video.